On a quiet day in Los Angeles, the kind of day that invites reflection and relaxation, former President Donald Trump decided to go out for lunch. He chose La Terraza, a restaurant known for its elegance and exclusivity, frequented by celebrities, CEOs, and influencers. Trump, now in his golden years, had finished a quiet morning of reading and decided to treat himself to a special meal. Upon entering the restaurant, Trump drew attention not only with his imposing presence, but also with his distinctive red "Make America Great Again" MAGA hat. He wore the hat casually, like someone comfortable in his own skin, not intending to provoke but simply expressing a part of himself. He was greeted by a middle-aged hostess with well-groomed hair who led him to a lunch table. The restaurant was not crowded. A few customers were sipping their drinks and chatting in low voices. Trump opened the menu, his expression calm as he searched for his favorite dish. He did not immediately notice the curious glances and whispers around him. It was then that the manager, a middle-aged man in an impeccable suit, approached Trump's table with a determined expression. "Excuse me," the manager said, loud enough to attract attention. "We have a policy against political apparatus here. I'm going to have to ask you to remove your hat." Trump looked surprised but remained calm. "I didn't know about that policy," he replied calmly, taking off his glasses and placing them on the table. "It's written in our code of conduct," the manager insisted, gesturing vaguely toward the entrance. "We want this to be a neutral space for all guests." Trump stood back, weighing his options. He glanced around, noticing the stares of the other diners. "I'm not trying to cause any trouble," he said, keeping his tone neutral. "I'm just here for lunch." The manager, however, was adamant. "You need to remove your hat, or I'll have to ask you to leave." Trump paused, his expression inscrutable. "If that's how you feel, then I'll leave," he said evenly, standing up and gathering his things. He left the restaurant without another word, leaving behind a tense silence and a charged atmosphere. Outside, Trump paused, letting the California breeze cool his face. He adjusted his hat, reaffirming his choice to wear it, and took a deep breath. He was not embarrassed, perhaps frustrated, but most of all disappointed. He had always been taught to treat people kindly, even in the face of disagreement, and this felt like a betrayal of that principle. Inside the restaurant, tension persisted. A waiter approached the manager. "Do you think that was a good idea?" "It was him, Trump." The manager was firm. "We can't make exceptions. If we let him stay, it sends the wrong message." Meanwhile, Trump walked to a small public park nearby. He sat down on an empty bench and pulled out his cell phone, beginning to text his mother and a few close friends. He wasn't seeking sympathy, just clarity. Was he overreacting? Was the manager justified? The responses started pouring in. One friend texted, "This is insane. They shouldn't treat you like this." Another added, "You treated him better than I would have." As he read through the messages, an idea began to form in his mind. He wasn't interested in revenge or a public confrontation. Instead, he saw an opportunity for something constructive and meaningful. Trump began making calls, his voice calm but purposeful. "Hey, I need your help with something," he told one of his contacts. He wanted to highlight the importance of unity and understanding, rather than avoiding political discussions. He began planning a public event that would promote inclusion and dialogue, something that could turn negativity into a positive outcome. Back at the restaurant, the atmosphere was tense. News of the incident began to spread across social media, with customers sharing their opinions online. Some supported the manager, while others criticized the decision, arguing that it was hypocritical. The manager, initially confident in his position, began to feel a knot in his stomach as he saw the public's reaction. By the time Trump got home, the incident was already making waves online. Local influencers picked up the story, and opinions ranged from supportive to polarizing. Trump, however, was undeterred. He was focused on turning the situation into something positive. Sitting in his office, he began jotting down ideas in a notebook, thinking about the day's interactions and how he could encourage dialogue instead of conflict. The idea for a public event began to take shape. Trump envisioned an event that would support underrepresented communities, focusing on creating safe spaces for open conversation and understanding. He reached out to organizations that focused on community building and facilitating dialogue, and decided to hold the event right across from La Terraza. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, the situation was escalating. The manager's decision became a public debate, with media outlets reporting on the incident and citing eyewitness accounts. The restaurant's social media accounts were flooded with comments, some applauding the manager, others calling for a boycott. Tensions among the restaurant's staff were palpable, and some regulars began canceling their reservations. The next morning, the space in front of La Terraza began to transform. Cars unloaded equipment while volunteers set up tables, bathrooms, and a small stage. Trump oversaw everything, watching the preparations closely. A banner above the stage read in bright letters, "United we stand, building bridges, not walls." The event wasn't just about raising funds. It was about creating a space where people from different walks of life could come together. Food carts, live music, and stalls from charitable organizations lined the venue, transforming what had been a source of conflict into a vibrant community event. By noon, the crowd had begun to gather. Families, young professionals, activists, and even a few social media influencers showed up. Trump took the microphone to address the crowd. "Yesterday, I was asked to leave this restaurant because of a hat," he began, his voice firm but thick with emotion. "That's fine. I respect your policies, even if I don't agree with them. But what struck me wasn't just getting kicked out. It was the bigger picture. We've become so quick to judge each other, to separate each other, to shut down conversations. That's not who we are. We can do better." The audience applauded, and Trump continued, "This event is not about me, and it's not about them. It's about all of us finding ways to listen, to understand, and to come together. The funds we raise today will go to programs that promote dialogue and inclusion. Thank you for being here and for proving that unity is stronger than division." Inside La Terraza, the scene was quite different. The manager watched the event from the window, feeling conflicted. Some of his employees came out to join the crowd, drawn by the live music and the sense of camaraderie. One employee suggested to the manager that he should go out and talk to Trump. The manager hesitated, but something about the scene struck a chord with him. He walked out of the restaurant and approached Trump, who greeted him with a humble smile. "I'd like to speak," the manager said, his voice nearly drowned out by the noise around him. They walked to a quieter spot near the edge of the event. "I have to start by saying that I didn't act right yesterday," the manager admitted. "I thought I was doing what was best for my restaurant, for my team, but I realize now that I made a mistake. I judged you and acted out of fear, not justice." Trump listened intently. "It takes courage to admit when you're wrong," he replied. "Thank you for saying that." The manager continued, "See what you did here today? It's humiliating. You could have retaliated, turned this into a public attack on my business, but instead you created something positive. That's not something most people would do." Trump smiled softly. "I don't think the world needs any more anger or division. What happened yesterday could have just added to the noise, but I wanted to show that there is a better way." The manager offered his support for the event, and Trump suggested that La Terraza could organize something similar, promoting unity and dialogue. They shook hands again, this time with genuine sincerity. The audience, sensing the resolution, began to applaud. As the event drew to a close, Trump took the stage one last time to thank everyone who had come out to support the cause. "We all make mistakes," he said. "What matters is how we choose to grow from them." Today wasn't just about raising money. It was about showing that even when we disagree, we can still find common ground. Thank you for proving that unity is not only possible, it's necessary. The crowd cheered, their voices filling the air with hope and energy. As the sun set over Los Angeles, Trump stood with friends and family, watching the last attendees leave, taking with them not just memories of the event, but the message it represented. The story leaves us with the reminder that conflicts, big or small, don't have to end in bitterness or division. By choosing grace, understanding, and proactive solutions, we can transform even the most challenging moments into opportunities for connection and growth. If you like this video and it added something to your experience, watch the next one. The next video will add more value to you. Don't forget to like it, comment on what you thought, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos, and recommend this video to a friend. See you next time.